welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode, I'll be discussing whether Thomas Tuchel was right to criticise the England fans after winning 3-0 against Wales. But before that, as always, please like, comment and subscribe. It's very much appreciated and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel, okay? We've recently just hit 243 subscribers. We're 7 away from 250, and if we can go and do that, I'll be absolutely buzzing. I'll be over the moon. I say it every episode, but yeah, I really do appreciate all the support on our videos, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. It definitely is going unnoticed, and yeah, let's get straight into the episode, shall we? Okay, England beat Wales 3-0. Okay, this did happen a few days ago, I do recognise that. However, we haven't really spoken about it just yet, and for me, you know, it was an easy victory for England, wasn't it? They scored 3 of their goals in the first opening 20 minutes, okay? Obviously, the star men for Aston Villa in Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins scored both their goals, which was absolutely fantastic. Ezri Konsa had a great game, and then Bukayo Saka going once again, showing why he's the main man for Arsenal and England, okay, who can take that pressure on his shoulders, if you like, to score England the goals. And for me, you know, I feel like Bukayo Saka did score the best goal of the game. If we just talk about the first goal from Morgan Rogers, okay, it was so good because it was just easy, wasn't it? Okay, lovely delivery from a corner from Declan Rice. Margay wins it from the back post, sort of crosses it back into the box, and it just landed perfectly to Morgan Rogers, who won't find an easier finish in his life. Okay, it was absolutely amazing. For me, when we speak about Morgan Rogers this season, he's had a little bit of a difficult start to his life at Aston Villa this season, okay, because he's not been at his best, if you like, you know, sort of pushed into that sort of cam position behind Ollie Watkins. It's not really worked out for him. And then when he went on the left-hand side against Burnley before the international break, it was absolutely amazing. He was back to his best. But in this game for England, he was sort of more centrally again, okay? And for me, I don't really like him in that central position. I don't think that's his best position for me. You know, I feel like when he's more central, there's too many players around him. He tries to play those passes off straight away, whereas I feel like his best feature of his game is to sort of hold the ball and dribble with it, dribble past players, to sort of create those opening spaces for the other players, if you like, to you know, pass the ball into and create those free balls, if you like. So for me, I don't really like him in that central position. However, Anthony Gordon on that left-hand side, you're not replacing him anytime soon, and you're not replacing Marcus Rashford either, are you? Who's probably the main star of late. But just to talk through that Ollie Watkins goal as well, it was also another little sort of cross, if you like, sort of at the back post. What happened in this game, I sort of figured out quite a lot, okay? You know, all the players, all the wingers were sort of running to the back post, to the byline, if you like. They was getting to the byline, sort of crossing it in to try and find a cutback for one of the strikers, for one of the midfielders. You know, a little bit Man City-esque, if you like. And, you know, England were finding a lot of success through that opening, you know, 20 minutes to 45 minutes as well in this game against Wales. And for me, when you talk about scoring 3 goals in the first 20 minutes, it was great because, you know, it goes to show that you know, England can be dominant in these games with less opposition. It does go to show they can dominate against this less opposition, but then there's also periods in certain games where, you know, we either start off very, very fast and score those goals and sort of shut up shop quite early on, or we find it a little bit difficult to break teams down, be a little bit boring in the game, and we just get a little 1-0 or 2-0 win sort of at the end of the game, if you like. So it's a bit of a tricky one with England performances over recent years, just because you don't know what a side's gonna, you know, turn up on the day, if you like, especially against these, you know, bigger teams, because it's all well and good beating these lower league sides, the Wales, the Latvias, the Serbias, the Albanias, if you like. But when you face these teams in the Euros, when you face these teams in the World Cup, you know, that's where the real test goes to show. And for me, with Gareth Southgate, he just couldn't get those massive wins over the line, could he? So we'll have to wait and see if Thomas Tuchel can be the main man to do that job. Now, you know, obviously Bukayo Saka did score the last goal. We did touch on it briefly, but it does go to show that, you know, when certain players are missing from the squad, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, you know, he can take on that mantle to be the, you know, world-class player in that squad to sort of, you know, take all that pressure and score the big goals when the side needs it, okay? Yes, the side didn't really need it because at this point it was 2-0 up in the game. Bukayo Saka sort of did his trademark goal, if you like, where he sort of cut inside on his left foot, curled it round the goalkeeper and scored, a little bit like Iron Robin-esque, if you like. Okay, I'm bringing all these sort of comparisons back in the day, and yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one because I do really like Bukayo Saka, and I do feel like he definitely is needed in that side. If you think about some of the stats in this game, England had 17 shots, 64% possession. So from that point of view, it was great. However, something a little bit disappointing in this game was how Thomas Tuchel criticised the fans, saying there was a lack of atmosphere in the stadium. Had bad energy in the stadium and whatnot. For me, it's a bit of a tricky one because when you are coming against these less opposition sides and when you're winning 3-0 at the start of the game, England sort of shut up shop, if you like, in the second half, sort of tried to, wipe the game out, and from that point of view, it's sort of hard to get up for these games when you win in so early on. So for that reason, it is difficult, and also Wembley is quite a far ground to travel to, if you like, as well. From that point of view, the cost of living crisis, okay, guys. So if you've got fans travelling from all around the country, it's a little bit difficult to get to. So why not play games where it's a little bit more easy accessible, whether that's in Premier League stadiums, Villa Park, St James's Park, St James Park, maybe like the new Tottenham Stadium, maybe the new Everton Stadium, all these different stadiums, just to give it a new, give it a new feel, give the fans something to look forward to, whether than just playing at Wembley each time. That's just my thoughts, my opinions. I'm not too sure how else you would increase the atmosphere in the stadiums, whether that was decreasing the ticket prices. I don't know. Maybe it's something England can look at for the future games. I'm not too sure. But again, this game against Wales, it was just a friendly. There's not much on the line, is it? So yes, the next game against Latvia, England can qualify for the World Cup in the next game against Latvia if Serbia lose to Albania, and that's what happened, didn't they? Albania won 1-0, didn't they? So from that point of view, it's all on England now to win the next game against Latvia. And for me, don't get me wrong, it's a bit of a tricky one because I'm not going to go into much detail about Latvia's squad. I don't really know too many of the players. Maybe you guys can educate me on Latvia's team. I'm not too sure. Again, I don't think they have really any stand-up players of note that I can sort of, look out to be a real threat to that England side. However, I'm just not too sure. One thing I just want to quickly touch on just before, we end the video, okay? Even though this Latvia game, I feel like it should be a bit of a walk in the park end for England, shouldn't it? They've got so much depth of quality in the squad now, and you've seen that in the first game because it probably was their second string England side, wasn't it? So now that Harry Kane will be back, I feel like he will probably start in this second game for England. And yeah, if you think about someone the likes of Morgan Rogers, okay, I really do feel like he has given Thomas Tuchel a headache in that sort of team selection, and he's sort of, it's not an easy way back for Jude Bellingham, if you like, because of how well Morgan Rogers has played in this game and the last couple of games for England, as well as the likes of Elliot Anderson, as well as the likes of Bukayo Saka. Not really similar, not really same position, I suppose, but Morgan Rogers, for example, okay, he is fantastic. When he's on form, he is fantastic, okay. He was Aston Villa's best player last season. Hopefully now he's had a few games consistently. He's been good. He's been consistently good for a few games now, hasn't he, Morgan Rogers? I want to say the last 2 to 3 games he has looked back to his best. So hopefully now he can build on that momentum for the rest of the season and tie that into the Latvia game as well on Tuesday night. So for me, it's not going to be easy for Jude Bellingham to get back into this side. Don't get me wrong, he's a world-class player, probably will get back into this side. However, it does give Thomas Tuchel that headache to sort of see which players should actually start for that England side, and which 2 players actually gives them their the balance of the squad, if you like. And also, did you see Morgan Rogers did the Cole Palmer trademark celebration, the cold celebration on the shoulders and whatnot. So for me, I don't know if Morgan Rogers is allowed to do that anymore, considering that Cole Palmer has recently trademarked the celebration, which is a little bit weird, just because, it's a celebration that everybody, embrace it. It's a celebration, isn't it? Why trademark celebrations? I feel like Gareth Bale trademarked the celebration a few years ago, didn't he? Which was, a little bit weird. I don't know why players are doing that. I feel like the game's gone a bit woke in that sort of aspect, just because it's a celebration. Everybody should be allowed to do it. It's just a cold celebration, isn't it? It's in theory, Morgan Rogers came out and said he was the one that started it, so I don't know why Cole Palmer's doing it just because it rhymes with his name or it sounds better with his name, I don't know. The game's gone a little bit in that aspect for me. Let me guys know what you think in the comments down below. Let's end the video with some questions, okay? How do you feel about Thomas Tuchel criticising the fans? Was he right? Was he wrong? Was there a lack of atmosphere against Wales in that game? How do you feel about England's chances against Latvia? Do you feel like they'll qualify for the World Cup with ease? How do you feel about these, friendlies, these World Cup qualifiers? Do England fans actually care about these games, or is it more about the cup competitions, the Euros, the World Cup, where, you actually get the excitement and the hype built up into those tournaments? And yeah, what can be done to make these friendlies and these, World Cup qualifiers more exciting for the fans? Whether that's, bringing in Premier League stadiums, whether that's decreasing the ticket prices, maybe. I'm not too sure what else you can do to sort of, add that extra added element of atmosphere to building that excitement for these games. And yeah, that's all my questions really. But before that, as always, please like, comment and subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel, okay? We've recently just hit 243 subscribers, and if we can go and get 250, we only need 7 more subscribers, guys. If we can do that, I would be absolutely amazing. It would be a dream come true, and yeah, I would really appreciate the support. But yeah, okay. All the likes and the comments on social media as well, it definitely is going unnoticed. And I really do hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.